Do you have insecurities? You're probably thinking, do you even have to ask? Of course, I have insecurities. In today's episode, we're going to discuss some of the most common insecurities and a few tips on how to cope with them. Welcome to Savvy Psychologist. I'm your host, Dr. Monica Johnson. Every week on this show, I'll help you face life's challenges with evidence based approaches, a sympathetic ear, and zero judgment. Let's start by defining what an insecurity is. An insecurity is a feeling of uncertainty, anxiety, or lack of confidence in yourself. It often involves a sense of inadequacy or fear that others will judge or criticize. Insecurities can manifest in various areas of life, such as personal appearance, abilities, relationships, and social situations. They can stem from past experiences, societal pressures, or internal beliefs, and can impact our mental health and our overall well being. Now, we're going to talk through some common categories of insecurities. The first being physical appearance. This relates to concerns about your body image. So, this can be your weight, your height, your skin, your hair, or other physical attributes that you get caught up on. This category often includes worries about being perceived as unattractive or not meeting societal beauty standards. The next is social. So these are fears related to social interactions and relationships, such as fear of rejection, loneliness, or being judged by others. This includes insecurities about making friends, public speaking, or fitting in a social group. You can also have insecurities around your performance and abilities. So, this can be doubts around your skills, your talents, or your competence in various areas such as work, academics, sports, or even your hobbies. This can involve a fear of failure, imposter syndrome, or just feeling inadequate compared to others. You can also have financial insecurities. So these can be concerns about money, your job security, or your overall financial stability. And this includes fears about not being able to provide for yourself or your family. You may have insecurities around the amount of debt you have or your ability to pay it off, or just in general, working towards financial independence. You can have insecurities around that. We can also have emotional insecurities. So these are insecurities related to emotional stability and mental health. This can involve fears around being overly sensitive, if you feel insecure about your ability to emotionally regulate, or if you're struggling with things like anxiety or depression, you may experience some insecurities in these areas. You can also have relationship insecurities. So, this can be fears and doubts in your relationships, such as fear of infidelity, not being loved, concerns about not being good enough to your partner. This can include insecurities about communication and emotional intimacy. You can also have insecurities around identity and self worth. So these can be deep seated insecurities about your value, your purpose, or your identity. This can include struggles with self esteem, self acceptance, and finding your place in the world. The next category is related to cultural and social identity. So these are insecurities related to your cultural, racial, or social background. This can involve concerns about discrimination, fitting in with a particular cultural group, or being accepted for your own heritage. Understanding these categories can help in identifying and addressing specific insecurities, ultimately leading to better self awareness and personal growth. Coping with insecurities involves a combination of self awareness, positive self care practices, and seeking support when needed. So, here are a few effective strategies for dealing with insecurities. The first is self awareness and reflection. So, within that, you want to identify triggers. You want to recognize situations or thoughts that trigger your insecurities. Once you identify them, something that's helpful that I've spoken about before is journaling. So, you want to write about your feelings and experiences to understand the root causes of your insecurities. The next strategy relates to positive self talk. So, you want to challenge your negative thoughts. Replace self critical thoughts with positive affirmations and realistic perspectives. With affirmations, you can use daily affirmations to reinforce positive beliefs about yourself. You can also set realistic goals. A big part of insecurities is sometimes we set ourselves up for failure, we self sabotage ourselves. So, setting realistic goals can be really helpful. In order to do this, you want to break down goals. Set achievable small goals to build confidence and track your progress. Along with this, you want to celebrate your successes. So acknowledge and celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how small they may be. The next strategy relates to developing self compassion. So you want to be kind to yourself. As I always say, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a close friend or family member. Along with developing compassion, you also may want to develop a mindfulness and meditation practice. Mindfulness helps us to stay in the present moment and reduce negative self judgment. The next strategies relate to building self esteem. So, first, we want to practice focusing on our strengths. Identify and focus on your natural born talents and strengths and capitalize on those. Next is to engage in activities that you enjoy. Participate in hobbies and activities that make you feel good about yourself. Next is to seek support. So, talk to friends and family that you trust about your feelings of insecurity. These friends and family members can offer you support and differing perspectives, which may help you to lessen your insecurities over time. You can also seek professional help if needed. So, if you're really struggling with insecurities, you want to consider therapy so you can explore more deeply the issues that are surrounding your insecurities and develop tailored strategies to help you out. The next things relate to healthy lifestyle choices. Yes, healthy lifestyle choices also help with insecurities. So, the first thing I'll mention is exercising regularly. Physical activity can improve your mood and reduce anxiety. If you're the type of person who has insecurities around your body, exercise can be a way to build a different relationship with your body and hopefully over time a more positive one. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention balanced diet. So, eating a healthy diet can positively affect your overall well being. There is a connection between our food and mood. So, when we're engaging in balanced eating, we tend to develop a better relationship with ourselves, reduce things like depression, stress, anxiety. And this can lead to less insecurities overall in the long run. Along with this, you want to make sure that you're getting adequate sleep. So ensure that you get enough rest to maintain mental and physical health. It's really difficult to reduce insecurities when you're tired. When we're tired, it's more natural for us to have increased stress, anxiety, negative thinking, and all of the things that we're trying to reduce. The next thing I'll mention is that you want to limit your comparisons when you're trying to reduce insecurities. One way to do this may be limiting social media or going on a social media detox. So, this involves reducing time spent on social media if it triggers comparison and feelings of inadequacy. Along with this, I would just encourage you to focus on your own journey. So remind yourself that everybody is on their own unique path and timeline. Developing skills and knowledge can also counteract insecurities. One of the ways to do this is through continuous learning. So, this is engaging in learning opportunities to build your confidence and your abilities. This continuous learning can be related to work related things, but also just personal goals that you may have. So, in my own personal life, I'm trying to read more about a variety of topics and get away from only reading about psychology. And that's helping me to feel more well rounded and have less insecurities in certain ways. The next thing I'll mention is practice and preparation. So, you want to prepare thoroughly for tasks and challenges to boost your confidence. Sometimes what leads to more insecurities is just not being prepared. And so then we show up and maybe we do fail at something, but it's not because we don't have the ability. We just weren't adequately prepared for the task at hand. Another big category to mention is positive relationships. If you want to get rid of insecurities, surround yourself with positivity. And this doesn't necessarily mean a bunch of yes people, but people that aren't going out of their way to be judgmental of you. So these can be people who are giving you constructive feedback that actually helps you move towards your goals, and those who can be positive, who can uplift you and encourage you. In the same vein, it's important to talk about healthy boundaries. So, you want to set boundaries with people who contribute to your insecurities. So, we can't always eliminate people from our lives, but we can change how we interact with those people so that they're not unintentionally or intentionally triggering our insecurities. When it comes to managing insecurities, many people often find that it's helpful to have a gratitude practice as well. One way to do this is through gratitude journaling. So, you want to keep a journal to note things you're grateful for, which can help to shift your focus from negative to positive aspects of your life. You can also have a daily gratitude habit that doesn't include journaling. A lot of people just create space in their day to sit and reflect on what went well in that day, what they feel appreciative of. If you really dislike journaling, you can engage in a daily gratitude practice without writing it down. Just save 10 or 15 minutes in your day where you sit and reflect on the things that you feel grateful for, that you appreciate, that went well on that day. Implementing these strategies can help you manage your insecurities and build a more positive self image, leading to improved mental health and well being. What's the best strategy that you've used for coping with insecurities? Let me know via my Instagram at KindMindPsych or via my email at psychologist@quickanddirtytips.com. The Savvy Psychologist is a quick and dirty tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Steve Ricky Berg with script editing by Brandon Getchus. Our podcast and advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. Our digital operations specialist is Holly Hutchings. And our marketing and publicity associate is Davina Tomlin. Follow Savvy Psychologist on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. That's all for this episode of Savvy Psychologist. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.